Marina Mabrey has broken her silence finally about shoving Caitlin Clark.
We're not doing this. Apparently, Marina Mabrey has now come forward and said she overreacted with the Caitlin Clark foul. Overreacted? I feel like you're trying to cover your ass because now they're talking.
The WNBA world just got rocked. Marina Mabrey has finally broken her silence about that brutal shove on Caitlin Clark, and what she just admitted is absolutely jaw-dropping. After weeks of speculation, investigations, and mounting pressure, Mabrey stepped forward with an explanation that has fans and analysts questioning everything.
I upgraded to a flagrant 2 because of the way the fans reacted to it, Mabrey said, on the shove on Clark. They gave me a tech for it initially. I don't care. Honestly, I really don't. Obviously, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to go after certain players for certain SHIT. She said, me and Caitlin were cool. She added, me and Caitlin have competed against each other in the playoffs. She threw me into the benches in the quarterfinals. We didn't go after her.
She claims she overreacted a little, and yes, you heard that right, a little. This isn't just another basketball controversy anymore. This is a full-blown admission that could change everything we thought we knew about what's really happening behind the scenes in women's basketball. But here's where it gets interesting. Mabrey's confession comes at a time when the league is under intense scrutiny, when investigations are being whispered about in boardrooms, and when the phrase hostile work environment is being thrown around by major publications. The timing isn't coincidental. Something bigger is brewing, and Mabrey just became the first domino to fall. While all this drama unfolds, let's talk about the player at the center of it all. Caitlin Clark isn't just surviving her sophomore season.
Watch when Caitlin Clark is trying to create some space. It looked like she just got hit in the eye there.
She's absolutely dominating it. The rookie hype train never stopped. It just gained more steam. We're talking about a player whose trading card just sold for an astronomical $317,000 at auction. Think about that for a second. One card. More money than most people make in 5 years. And this isn't even her most expensive card. It's just the third highest Clark card sale ever, with 11 of her cards crossing the 6-figure mark. Even more incredible, Clark accomplished this financial milestone while sitting on the bench with a groin injury.
Scrape across the face.
She's literally making money and breaking records from the sidelines. The WNBA has never seen anything like this. Television ratings spike when she plays. Arenas sell out when her team comes to town. Jersey sales skyrocket. She's not just a basketball player anymore. She's a one-woman economic engine powering an entire league's growth. But success breeds resentment, and what happened during that Fever versus Sun matchup exposed the ugly underbelly of professional jealousy. Picture this scene. Clark is battling for position when J.C. Sheldon's finger finds her eye. The whistle blows. Play stops. Medical attention.
Mabrey follows it up, and Clark pushes her. That's going to be a second foul.
Is needed. In any normal basketball scenario, this is where players back away, give space, maybe even show some sportsmanship. Instead, Marina Mabrey saw an opportunity. From the side of the court, like a linebacker reading a quarterback's blind spot, Mabrey launched herself at Clark. This wasn't a basketball play. The ball was dead. The whistle had blown. There was no rebound to contest, no fast break to stop. Just a calculated decision to plant both hands on the league's biggest star and send her crashing to the hardwood floor. Clark's face scraped against the court as she went down, adding insult to what was already a completely unnecessary injury. Now, weeks later, Mabrey is trying to spin this incident like it was some kind of heat-of-the-moment mistake. She sat down with reporters and delivered what might be the weakest explanation in sports history. She claimed she was protecting her teammate, that she saw Clark getting physical with Sheldon and couldn't stand by and watch. According to Mabrey, this wasn't personal, just good old-fashioned.
This incredible inability to deal with the facts and to state the obvious. It is astounding to me how Kathy Engelbert doesn't come out after the Marina Mabrey hit and say that's unacceptable. Refs got it wrong. Okay, should have been kicked out then. You weren't, but now I'm going to kick you out. You're suspended for another game or two. That's just unacceptable behavior for someone who's so important to the league. Or
team loyalty gone slightly wrong. But here's where her story completely falls apart. Mabrey wants us to believe that shoving someone after a whistle is the same as competing during live play. She even brought up a playoff series from the previous season where she claims Clark threw her into the benches during actual game action. The difference is night and day. Playoff basketball is intense, physical, and emotional. Bodies collide. Players get knocked around. That's the game. What Mabrey did was assault disguised as competition. And this isn't happening in isolation. Clark has become a walking target for players who can't handle her success. Kennedy Carter's cheap shot from earlier in the season set the tone, a blindside hit while Clark was simply jogging up the court, completely removed from any basketball action. Carter walked away from that hit with a smirk on her face, like she just accomplished something meaningful instead of embarrassing herself on national television. Then there's Diamond DeShields, who turned herself into a human missile, launching her entire body at Clark during what...
I feel like you're trying to cover your ass because now they're talking about investigations and now you're terrified. Now you're scared. Now you're shook. That was the real you. You're a snake. It is what it is. The game before that, when you saw Clark, you stopped her from signing autographs.
Should have been routine court movement. The ball was nowhere near the collision zone. It was pure intimidation, designed to send a message that had nothing to do with winning basketball games. Angel Reese has perfected the art of the accidental elbow, throwing sharp shots that somehow only seem to find Clark when cameras are rolling. These aren't basketball plays. They're calculated attempts to physically and mentally wear down a player who's committed no crime except being better at basketball than everyone expected. When the dust settled from Mabrey's attack, the referees initially called it a technical foul. Just a technical. For a completely unprovoked assault after the whistle. It took fan outrage, video review, and mounting public pressure for the league to upgrade it to a flagrant 2. Even then, Mabrey has the audacity to claim that the upgrade only happened because fans complained.
The game before that, when you saw Clark, you stopped her from signing autographs so you could hug her. I would have thought y'all was cool. Now, all of a sudden, fast forward to the Connecticut game, she got Sheldon over here. You're knocking her to the ground. Tina Charles is wagging her finger at her like she's her mom or something. That's what y'all do. Y'all only won 5 games this season. I mean, what else y'all been doing this year? The highlight for the Connecticut Sun.
On social media, as if the severity of her actions wasn't crystal clear to anyone with functioning eyeballs. This brings us to an uncomfortable truth that's been bubbling under the surface all season. If Mabrey had shoved a stranger like this in a grocery store parking lot, she'd be facing assault charges. In most states, unprovoked physical contact that sends someone to the ground is a criminal offense. But because it happened during a basketball game, it's just part of the sport. Except it's not part of the sport when it happens after the whistle blows. The Wall Street Journal didn't write about this incident for entertainment value. They called it what it is, a hostile work environment. Think about your own job for a moment. If coworkers were taking unprovoked physical shots at you because they were jealous of your success, how long would that behavior be tolerated? How many incidents would it take before someone stepped in and said enough is enough? Major media outlets picked up the story because this isn't just about basketball anymore. Fox News ran segments about it. Sports analysts who normally cover male athletes are dedicating airtime to discussing whether female professional athletes are being systematically targeted for their success. This is unprecedented territory for women's sports coverage. What makes this even more damaging is that none of these incidents involve legitimate basketball competition. We're not talking about hard screens, aggressive rebounding, or physical defense. Every single one of these controversial plays happens when the ball is either dead or completely removed from the action. There's a pattern here, and it's not competitive intensity, it's targeted harassment. The league veterans have accidentally confirmed what everyone suspected. Lexi Brown went on her podcast and admitted that last year's rookie class walked into a toxic environment. She said the energy wasn't good because players were jealous. If it was toxic when Clark was just a promising rookie, imagine what it's like now that she's selling out arenas and generating millions in revenue. Meanwhile, Clark herself has done absolutely nothing to provoke these attacks. She's not trash-talking opponents in interviews. She's not lobbying referees for favorable calls. She's not posting inflammatory content on social media. She shows up, plays basketball at an elite level, and signs autographs for fans. Apparently, that's enough to make her a target. The immediate aftermath of Mabrey's attack proved that this behavior has consequences. Sophie Cunningham, Clark's teammate, stepped up as the enforcer and delivered some payback later in the game. The crucial difference? Cunningham's retaliation happened during live play, as part of the natural flow of basketball competition. She didn't wait for a dead ball to take a cheap shot. She handled business the right way. This is where the WNBA's leadership failure becomes impossible to ignore. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert could end this targeting tomorrow with swift, decisive action. Suspend players for multiple games when they commit flagrant fouls on dead balls. Make it clear that unprovoked contact will result in immediate ejection and significant financial penalties. The solution isn't complicated, it just requires courage. But the league won't act decisively because they're terrified of the political implications. They're walking on eggshells around certain narratives, afraid of being labeled as favoring one player over others or accused of bias. So instead of protecting their most valuable asset, they let the situation fester while their biggest star gets physically targeted game after game. Now Mabrey is feeling the heat, and her damage control interview proves it. She's not sorry she shoved Clark. She's sorry that people are still talking about it. She's worried about being part of the hostile work environment investigation that journalists are building case by case. When federal workplace protection laws start getting mentioned in connection with professional sports, smart players start looking for exit strategies. The media has documented every incident, every cheap shot, every after-the-whistle attack. Mabrey's name is now permanently attached to this list of players who couldn't handle Clark's success professionally. No amount of "we were cool" explanations will erase that video footage or change the fact that she admitted to overreacting. Clark is expected to return from her groin injury soon, and when she steps back onto that court, the entire dynamic will be different. Every matchup will be under a microscope. Every physical play will be scrutinized. Fans will be watching for retaliation, referees will be quicker with their whistles, and players like Mabrey will be operating under intense scrutiny. The most brutal part of this whole saga is what it reveals about human nature in competitive environments. Clark didn't ask to be the face of the WNBA. She didn't lobby for special treatment or demand extra attention. She just played basketball better than anyone expected and became successful beyond her wildest dreams. For that crime, she's been physically targeted, verbally criticized, and made to feel unwelcome in her own workplace. Mabrey's admission changes everything because it confirms what fans have been screaming about all season. This isn't competitive basketball. It's systematic targeting disguised as competition. When players start admitting they overreacted to seeing other players succeed, the mask comes off. The jealousy becomes undeniable. So here's the real question that Mabrey's confession forces us to confront. Was this apology genuine remorse, or just a calculated attempt at damage control? From where most observers sit, it sounds a lot more like "I'm sorry you caught me" than "I'm sorry for what I did." The timing is too convenient, the language too carefully chosen, and the explanation too self-serving to feel authentic. What do you think? Are we witnessing a genuine moment of accountability, or just another player trying to get ahead of a story that's spiraling out of control? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell because this story is far from over.